I love how I got this the like old grandparents aesthetic for this particular room. Hello, my name's Corey. This is Jimmy D. Every week we get together to have a rundown weekly update of what's going on in EOSIO space. We've got an amazing guest coming on at 9:30, John Heeter from Boyd, which is one of my favorite projects ever. From the sort of EOSIO or EOS mainnet sort of ecosystem, and we got tons to talk about. I love starting on time, starting like 5 minutes late. You have no idea. I set up this entire computer in my in-laws' place in like 6 minutes. I had to steal a mouse because, of course, I didn't bring one because I'm an adult. Anyway, whatever. We're fine. It's fine. Jimmy D, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, man. It's been it was a long day actually. I walked for like 5 kilometers today. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
So yeah, it's walkable. It's not so humid here, and that's kind of nice. Because when the humidity creeps up, it's not always that great to be walking around the middle of a massive city. So
right,
at least there's that. But yeah, other than that, I'm good. It's been a busy week again. Let's dive in, I guess.
Yeah, let's do it. What are the top stories this week?
There wasn't that much going on, actually, to be honest. I mean, there were a few things, but not nearly as extensive as last week. But I would say the hype with the NFTs in Wax was pretty big again this week. We had a big launch from Tribal Books. I'm not sure if you know what Tribal Books is.
I don't. Give me a quick spiel.
Yeah. So have you heard of Prospectors?
Yes.
Yeah. So Prospectors is kind of like a game that was built on EOS and Wax. They've got 2 different worlds, and you can go in there and you can mine gold and do some really cool stuff and buy things. And they just built a railroad and all this other kind of interesting kind of in-game play. So the same team behind that, they released this card game called Tribal Books, and their NFTs went on sale last night, actually, or yesterday.
Nice.
Depending on where in the world you live. Kind of cool concept, I guess. Like, you have these cards and you can do like kind of battles with other people, like your old school kind of card games where different cards will give you different things. Right. But they've kind of added this book to it, and the people who possess this book, the more you play, it's kind of like a book of magic. The more things will be added to your, I don't know. I don't even know what it's called because it just came out last night. But the more attributes will be added to like this book. But because it's an NFT, then everything that's added to this book can then be put on the marketplace as is, right?
Right.
Think about it this way: like when you get a video game from your friend, right, and you turn it on. You can't just start at level 8 and kill the final character and win the game, right? You got to start from the beginning. Right. But the thing with NFTs is we can create these NFTs that, have a marketplace that can be bought and sold. So I think that in itself is just really exciting, right? If you look at the marketplace around like gaming and NFTs, it's huge, right? Yeah. So I think this is a really cool concept whereby all of the attributes of that book will then be part of that book, which will then be part of that NFT, which can then be sold on the marketplace to whoever wants it, right? So
you're like basically like building a character, and then you could sell the character.
Yeah, very similar, I guess. Yeah, except it's a tool that you would use in the game, right?
Right. I feel like it's a slightly different. I have a sense that that's kind of where Nifty Wizards is heading. Although I think it's more like they've been going after specific ways to kind of play around in that space over and over. So it's sort of an amalgam of a lot of different pieces, which I kind of like better, right? Like because it was always, I think, an exploration for Kurt and the entire team behind Nifty Wizards to really play with, game mechanics and why people are interested in it. And Kurt's obsessed with story. So like that's the thing that kind of rung out to me with the whole storybook angle of it, right? Like you're having this continuous potential for journey and accruing things. It's interesting. I like it.
Yeah, just maybe a different medium as opposed to being on Telegram. It's just
yeah,
cool.
Right. So, indeed. So we have the Uplift single drop, of which I got to be musically a part on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, or is it Sunday?
Yeah, it would have been last Saturday. I think the extended version is the one you're talking about, right?
Well, yeah, with the whole drop happens on the 15th, which is Sunday.
Coming up, yeah.
I can math.
No, you're right. It is. Well, I don't know. I think for me, it's Sunday.
Oh, right. Because this is what happens when your co-host lives in the Japan.
It might be Monday. I'm not sure.
It might be Monday. Could be next week. I don't know.
Yeah, today's the 12th, so 3 days from now, essentially. And I believe it's scheduled to go live at 12 noon.
Yeah, Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, the time that everything is at. So, if there's not tons of news, would you be cool with me sharing the video on the min sprint mechanics?
Yeah, of course.
Right.
We'll go for it. We do have a little bit more news around Uplift.
Okay, well, let's go over that, and then we'll do that. That way, people will actually have a bit of an idea of what's happening.
So there is two kind of things that are happening. The main event, like you said, kicks off on the 15th, but for the last week or so, we've had this kind of pre-event where the Telegram channel is just blowing up.
I saw that.
People in there and doing cool stuff, and so there's two contests going on around the Uplift art that people can get some free crates from this kind of first community crate drop. The first one is a meme contest. So there was originally five images from those videos that were released, and people can go and make memes and send them out to Twitter. And there's some really cool ones. I don't know why, but somebody decided to put M Blue in a bubble. And that's just become a meme in itself. I mean,
right.
He said, "Don't pop me," and then that just became a meme in itself. And now there's a meme where he's in a bubble and somebody's holding him on the moon, and it says, "Don't let me go." So he's just like he's become the target of these memes. But it's pretty cool. I mean, it's really cool to see what people are coming up with. Some really interesting things. And then the second one is a content competition where we have basically asked people to come up with, some way to, teach people what's going on in the with the whole thing, with the whole drop. And we kind of left it open-ended. I mean, they can do whatever they want. Our whole reason of being is charity, but also it's kind of art and passion and creative philanthropy. So, we're hoping, to draw some of that out from some other people. I mean, maybe we'll get some comic entries, or maybe we'll get some, writing entries, or potentially even some music entries, like we're just kind of leaving that open. So we want to kind of see the creative ability of all the people that are involved. I mean, best people to appreciate art are artists themselves, usually, right? So
it's true. Yeah, no, I'm loving seeing all the stuff coming out there. I haven't even seen all the memes yet. I'm super stoked to see those. I did just post in, if you're watching this now or even later, if I have some left, I've got a few of the community packs that have 3 NFTs each in them. If you post your wax count in the comments of one of these videos, there is a high probability that you will get sent one of these things as a thank you for watching the show. If you share it, then that will increase the luck that you have in that NFT pack. Is that real? No, I just made that up, but it sounded fun and might be true because luck is weird. Karma is good.
Well, and that's another thing for people who are just maybe hearing about this for the first time. That's a really cool thing about this NFT. I mean, with the exception of the fact that it's music written by you, sang by you.
I did write. Yeah, I sort of rewrote it, I guess.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Usually when NFTs are dropped, they're opened, and then those mints are the ones that are released. But these ones, like you said. Well, actually, opposite of what you said. Well, whatever's in the pack is in the pack. It doesn't matter whether it's the first pack to be opened or the last pack to be opened. This is something that Uplift Art kind of, pioneered together with Atomic Assets. So it's a whole new model, and like a whole new, everything about this project is just completely new. Everything, like there's nothing that isn't new. Like, I mean, the art is new, the style of art is new, the artist is new to the NFT space.
Right.
Videos on the blockchain are pretty new. I mean, coming from Uplift Art, the first one. But yeah, I kind of want to see it again. I really like this one.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. It's nuts. So my wife got her hair did yesterday here in Tampa, where we're hanging out, and ended up talking to her about all the crazy, ridiculous shit her husband is into. And turns out this hairdresser is also an artist who was also reading about NFTs, was thinking about doing that. We interviewed was it James, I think his name was, who's the artist that was backing his original pieces with NFTs. We interviewed him for one of the first few ChirpCasts, and it's just like they're it's bubbling right underneath the surface. Like, this is something that is going to have some really interesting crossover mass market appeal, which is kind of fun. Anyway, so yeah, is that everything on Uplift? I'll play this video and then we can.
Yeah, let's go. We're gonna go over the token, the mechanics model, right?
Yes. Yeah. I kind of got it before I watched this, but I didn't really get it. And now, I seriously am going to be buying a bunch of these things for myself just to mess around with this. Like, I literally yesterday was like, okay, I need to get a nice chunk of wax to buy our own NFTs because it's going to be so much fun. Anyway, let's check this out. Can you hear that?
No.
I did not press the button. I'm fired. Super fired. Let's try that again, shall we? Okay.
Model, the I'm Not the Bubble music video collector's edition. This is the how. You've seen the why. Let's dive in. There are two types of crates that contain the collectibles. One single crate that contains 6 collectibles, and a 2-crate option that contains 20 collectibles that have a chance of getting the higher rarities. Additionally, all crates and collectibles within are all pre-minted so that the first and the last crates bought have an equal chance of attaining the sought-after low mint numbers. 2, what are the possibilities within the crates? There's a total of 7 rarity levels, 5 of which are in the crates: common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary, while mythic and the crown jewel, the collector's edition, are obtained by the burn upgrade mechanic that we'll explain in just a moment. The only assets in the drop not pre-minted, but minted at the time of upgrade, are the collector's editions sitting there up at the top. So why are the collector's editions not pre-minted? This is where the mint sprint comes into play. This new NFT model has created a use case for all the rarity levels up to mythic. Here are the specifics. Simply burn upgrade any 10 from a specific rarity level, common through legendary, and receive a random collectible from the rarity level above it, or a chance of receiving a random, highly sought after collectible from the mythic collection. For example, let's take the uncommon collection. Pick any 10 you hold and burn upgrade for a random rare collectible with a chance of receiving a random mythic collectible instead. Okay, so now how does one get the collector's edition? Simple. Burn upgrade all 25 collectibles in any rarity level, common through legendary, and receive the collector's edition for that rarity level. The first ones in get the lowest mint numbers, hence the mint sprint, because these will be the most highly sought after pieces in the collection because they are the full music video, I'm Not the Bubble, featuring rock star, philanthropist, collaborator Corey Cottrell, and yours truly, writer, producer, and Blue. So for example, if you collect all 25 assets in the rare collection, simply burn upgrade for the rare collector's edition. Again, the early ones to do this will get the low mint numbers. The mint sprint is for real people and will be the first of its kind in the history of NFTs and the beginning of a monumental turning point of how NFTs take over the digital asset space.
A Bitcoin bull is all I got left.
So, like, I made this song with Blue. Other than the singing, he did basically all the cool parts. Just except maybe the guitar. The guitar's pretty cool on it. But it's one of the rare things that I was part of musically that every single time I hear it, I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool. It's like usually like I'm usually very critical, but I'm like, no, this is not bad at all.
Yeah, it's really good, man. I think it's just the whole thing is interesting. Like it's just the way that it's all come together.
Like the amount of art and production and visuals that Blue put into this is just ridiculous. Like there's so much creativity. So it's good to hear about the memes and the different content creation stuff that's going on. But I got to tell you, I'm not surprised, right? Like the whole vibe of the project that everybody's kind of put together, I can just see like being a magnet for other people. And really, that has always been the team at Uplift. Their main thing is like we're basically beta testing, we're proof testing, we're testing the theory of the case that you do drops like this. And other artists are going to be coming along behind us doing stuff that's along these lines, but even bigger and better. So that's going to be super fun.
Yeah, and it's just amazing, like you said, the amount of creative people that have become involved. Like not necessarily even like mainstream like creativity, like music and art, but even look at what Atomic Assets has done and transforming the whole model, helping to transform the whole model for the drop, and it's just really, really cool. Like it's next level stuff, and I think you definitely want to participate in this. So
yeah, agreed.
Like obviously, we're not about giving financial advice, but we are about telling you that if you contribute to this, a portion of this goes to charity, goes to Haitian Roots, which is a nonprofit organization in Haiti working towards children education and food, and they're kind of in desperate need because of the pandemic and the global shutdown. They were in need before, so that's good. So yeah, I think I can say go buy these for charity, right? Not financial advice, but I'm wondering, new people, how do you buy these? It might be a little bit difficult, so maybe we should give them a little quick rundown of that. It's pretty simple. You said earlier, you're getting yourself prepared because it'll go on release live, and you'll need to have wax in a wax wallet. So how do you get a wax wallet?
Yeah, I mean the simplest thing for me, you can go to wax.io or just look for just search for the Wax Cloud wallet. They've done a really, really good job. There's actually ways to buy wax after you set up your account, which they of course walk you through getting your Wax account, which is an account on the Wax blockchain. And then you'll probably want to go check out atomichub.io, which is where we're going to be doing the drop. And that the Wax Cloud wallet will actually just let you log in to that. It's all kind of interconnected in a super cool way. So yeah, as long as you got that Wax account, you can log into Atomic Hub. You know where uplift.art is. You buy some wax, you're good to go. That said, we should probably do like a little primer document or like infographic or something like that, like how to go from zero to taking part in one of the coolest drops that the NFT space has ever seen ever.
Yeah. I think there's some print releases that have already been done.
Nice.
It would be good. It would be good to maybe do a quick video. I think we have some old ones, but if you haven't signed up for a Wax Cloud wallet, it's the easiest thing you'll ever sign up for. I mean, it's easier than email. I mean,
Email, the only thing that would be easier is this little site called chirp.la. I'm just saying.
Yeah, fair enough. 100%. But like, yeah, it's a really easy social. Like, you can log in with Google. You can log in with Twitter. You can.
So actually, I just lied. They're basically exactly as easy as each other.
Hmm.
Although I do have to say, Waxcloud has more options than we do right now. So, no, I take back everything I said. You're more right. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, as long as nobody's wrong, I'm happy.
I'm just less right.
So, chirp.la, yeah, that's it. I guess we're almost coming up on our guest time, but let's dive into that a little bit. So chirp.la is a small, site where people can post links and various things, and something really exciting and new is happening in the next day or two, which is one of the reasons that our guest is joining us. Do you want to?
Yeah, so we got John Heeter from Boyd coming on. Boyd has, like, for real, been one of my favorite projects in the EOS space since I started paying attention to it. And they're basically doing spare CPU, crunching, numbers from SETI data, back in the day, to crunching, genetics data for the COVID, situation that we've been in. And it basically just, again, it's just like using your computer while you're not, and you're mining the Boyd token while you're doing that. Although, very entertainingly, very soon you're going to be able to mine the Boyd token in a slightly different way, by going to the Boyd channel on Chirp and posting and saying hello and liking a couple posts, which is going to be pretty fun. We're almost done setting that up.
Yeah, so for every post, you'll get some Boyd. I don't know if we're calling it dust or not, but you'll get some Boyd dust.
Yeah, it's just Boyd. I think that's going to end up being too confusing, because there will be like a damn near infinite number. My guess is there will be dozens of dust mines, actual dust token, interestingly, on the Wax blockchain before too long. But yeah, you'll be able to get some Boyd just for coming into the Boyd.
Well, and it's another first. This is another first. This is the first token that Chirp's done on the they did Telos. I never know how to say that. Telos a couple weeks ago, but this will be the first token on the EOS mainnet that they'll have implemented, right?
Yep. It'll be the first of many, but it's definitely the first one. I think Valner, our dev guy in charge of that, has been testing that out. I actually sent him some Boyd to test some stuff out, so that'll be good for my personal Boyd stash. So that's
nice.
It's legit. It's legit when that starts happening. Anyway, can you fire John the link?
Oh, we didn't do that.
To you, we did not.
Oh. Yeah, sure. I thought we did.
Cool.
Sorry.
No, I should have done it with the email, but I actually just sent him a calendar invite when we were doing that stuff.
I'll
Mine bad. Do.
There we go. Let's see. Hopefully he'll come in and join us soon. So.
Indeed.
We haven't given out any crates today yet.
I probably will. One I was gonna probably wait till after, but I suppose I could just do it while we're on air here.
Wow, is there anyone around?
Yeah, we actually got a comment from L and Anon. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too terribly. Yeah, let's hop over here. Going to Atomic Hub.
Maybe we should open a crate.
Oh, that's a good idea. I haven't actually unboxed one yet.
Yeah, I have one somewhere that I can open. One of the ones that came from the early drops.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because for all people who had the first Uplift art NFTs, the Serpent and the Wolf, and the first My Bitcoin Bull VB music video, they all got a small crate.
I actually got one of those. How do you unbox them? Where do you do that? How do you do that?
Well, I believe you go to Atomic Assets, I think.
That is where I'm at. Oh yeah, just says unbox and the first thing on the drop down menu.
Yeah, they really do make everything super easy over there.
Yeah, they're not messing around. Actually, I'm gonna have to get Jonah back on here. He was one of the first guests on ChirpCast. He was super
Yeah,
fascinating. Super fascinating, dude.
And they've done like a lot of amazing things like in a really short amount of time. Like,
all right, so you're in Atomic Hub. You click on the pack that you pick up or the crate that you buy on Sunday at noon. And yeah, you just click on unbox. It's super complicated. All right. So open packs. 410 out of 1250 have been opened. Oh, there's because these are the promo packs. Cool. Oh, supporter crates. I gotta get me one of these supporter crates. How do you get those?
These are like,
hello.
Yeah, these are pretty intense supporter crates. So,
right?
So I think that the supporter crates are those crates that we're kind of giving out for the memes in the Telegram channel. There was one person who shared an interesting story about his experiences in Haiti. I believe they were rewarded with a supporter crate. People going on Telegram and Twitter and doing good things. They're getting supporter crates. It's just basically all about being active. And
awesome.
This project, in a sense, is about being active in so many ways, right? Like,
right.
It's cool to hodl stuff, right? It's cool to hodl cards and NFTs, but I mean, like, it's going to be really interesting. Like, what if all the number one mints get burned? Like,
right?
It's possible, right? Like, what if people burn like all the commons and there's only like 100 commons left in the world and there's like 1,000 other cards? Like, the commons are going to become like the most rare, right? Like, it's just crazy. It's going to be awesome.
Boom. Unboxinator. What? That's cool.
Ooh.
Hello.
Nice.
That's fucking fancy. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, so I think there's some music in there at some point.
There was. Sorry, I didn't.
No, that's all right. I think we should not play the music and give people,
right,
half of the experience here, and then the other half of the experience that they can look forward to.
Okay. Yeah. So El Ananon is asking. So the blocks just picked up. Somebody sold some shill on I think it's Alcor, which is a Dex, and they sold it for a lot. So now, if you go to blocks.io and you look at the shipple in your account, it's showing a pretty massive number. So that looks fun, but there's no market for it, right? Like, I think less than one EOS worth of shipple has been sold ever. I'm not going to ever put any of it on an exchange myself. So if anybody else wants to do that, they're totally welcome to do that. So that's where that's at. One thing I am looking at trying to do is getting shipple on Chirp, where we're actually going to have a fun little use case for it. And my hope is, because there's a lot of shipple whales out there, which was exactly as I intended it, to have a bunch of people come in and run some channels on Chirp for themselves, which would be pretty fun. So yeah, that's where that is. As far as the value being bullish, which is his question, like, it is still 99% joke, 1% cryptocurrency.
I like that a lot. Like, that's awesome. Like, you're the first person I've ever heard say that, like, there actually is no reason for this token to exist. Because
so the interesting thing is that, and people know from the number of times I've talked about it, that's not true. There's been a bunch of use cases, but officially, that's like, we made it up. We did it together as a community. We're allowed to do that now. Does that, like, the possibility that, like, it's going to be some Bitcoin thing in the future, that I don't want anyone thinking that, because there's no way for anyone to know. There's no way for us to even make a presumption about it. By all means, go sell it for micro pennies, right?
No, but like that's kind of where I was headed with it. Like, you have all of these projects that, like, well, not so much anymore, because the bear market ripped them a new one. But like,
what happened to everything, right?
We're going to be the next Bitcoin. We're faster, we're smarter, we're better. I mean, no. Like, and it's interesting, like what you said earlier about like the price, basically skyrocketing and looking really good on blocks, because that's like, there's so many projects on EOS, especially that are just like what you sell like one EOS worth of something for an exorbitant value, and it looks like your whole portfolio has gone through the roof, but there's no market. There's like it's like a $1 gap between buys and sells, right?
Well, even stuff like medium-sized projects on Nudex, the market is so small that if you try and sell $100 worth, you're the slippage is like 50%. It's ridiculous. Ellen is asking if I plan to list it on other exchanges. I didn't actually list it on this exchange. Right now, there's absolutely no plans to do that whatsoever. Obviously, with decentralized exchanges, anyone is allowed to do that themselves if they so choose, and I think that'll be super fun if anyone wants to do it. Have at it. My focus is getting it onto channels on Chirp where we can start having fun with it again, which would be cool. That's the game plan. So it's gonna be good to talk to Boyd too, because I know Boyd's been messing around with some NFT stuff. I want to get the skinny on what's up.
John's he's awake. He's there.
Awake is good.
He was maybe in the wrong place. I might have that might have been my fault actually. But yeah, he should be in here. But dude, man, like have you ever had John on the channel before?
Not on this channel. I think I've talked to him before.
Yeah,
I think I interviewed him for just the other like I was doing shows off coffee for a while for crypto.
Yeah, he's accomplished so much in the space. He's just amazing. Like the things that he's worked on. Like we had Jack Wales last week on the channel, and for a while I was a guest host with Jack on his weekly. For a while back in the day, he had a weekly discussions podcast, and there's a couple of times where I was guest host with John, and that's kind of how I met him. And it just blew my mind at how knowledgeable he was about the space, about IBC, about there's just so many, great questions that we can ask him. There he is. We're just you actually. Sorry. I guess we sent you to the wrong. Place unintentionally. But we were just chatting about Boyd. We just basically told everyone that. Very soon there will be Boyd tokens on Chirp for commenting and posting. And Corey had just brought up the idea of the NFT. So we were about to delve into that.
Okay, great.
So John, if you could give us, I talked a little bit about it before we got on, but just for people that might not have heard of Boyd before, what is Boyd and what are you guys working on?
Sure. Boyd is, we call it a social supercomputer. It's a distributed system or a distributed infrastructure that allows anyone to contribute their excess computing resources towards the network. And the word Boyd comes from a algorithm and visual effects that's used to simulate large flocks of birds. So you don't try to simulate the entire flock, you just simulate the individuals with simple rules. And from simple rules emerges kind of complex behaviors. So that's the idea of Boyd, is lots of individuals making small contributions, amounts to something larger than the sum of its parts.
That's awesome. I didn't know it. I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah, before blockchain, I was in video games and special effects industry. So the word Boyd was just one of those things I always thought was interesting, in the back of my head.
Right.
And when I got into blockchain, I was like, oh, I kind of see, how these things all fit together, right? A blockchain derives its value from the participants, right? Without everyone running the nodes and accepting it as currency or whatever it is, then it has no value. So there's this emergent property, which is very interesting. But anyways, that's Boyd. And the Boyd NFTs, Basically, the idea here is we want to create utility, like NFTs that are not just cosmetic tradables, which they are. And, we have some great art that I really like. But they also are usable on the Boyd platform to basically upgrade your account. So you lock them up in your Boyd account, and the ones that we have released now, the Tesla NFTs, the first of the science series, basically they give you up to a 10% Boyd power boost. And in the future, we'll have more NFTs that have different impacts on your accounts. Things from like improving your staking ability to upgrading your kind of virtual Boyd devices and things like that. And we'll have, cosmetic upgrades and things like that as well. So yeah, this is the very first step for us to kind of get into the whole space. And we have hinted at a few other future developments, like a Boyd game and things like that. So you might see.
Yeah, maybe we can roll back a little bit. I think it's really interesting that the Boyd NFT, it'll be the first essentially usable NFT. It'll be an NFT on the EOS blockchain, but it'll be the first NFT with value beyond just being a piece of art, right? It'll give attributes to your account. But maybe for some of our viewers, as Corey says, they might not know exactly what those attributes will give them. So maybe if we could go back, kind of to the beginning as a new user looking at Boyd, how would they get involved, and what would they do? What would be the process? So Boyd's basically operated around teams. There's about 10 different teams, and you can sign up for one of these teams, and then you can contribute to that team's power. But how would you go about signing up? How would you go about, getting yourself involved with contributing to that power? And why would you want to contribute to that power? What do you get out of it, and what does Boyd get out of it, essentially?
Sure. I mean, it works on a few different levels. So, I mean, you could say like the primary motivator of individuals that contribute their resources. People just want to make a difference. People want to contribute to something important and, be part of something greater than the whole. So Boyd, most of our resources goes to distributed science projects that are doing research on things like cancer research. And we actually have COVID-19 research that's happening on Boyd machines as well. So, that's kind of I would say, like, from our surveys and everything, that's like the primary motivator. And then the kind of second layer right underneath that is kind of the gamification, competitive tribalism. We have these teams. So you kind of move up and down in the leaderboards based on your generated Boyd power. And Boyd, if you're familiar with proof of work, Boyd power is kind of like your hash rate, or it is just some measurement of your computing resources that you've contributed recently. And the leaderboard is based upon your Boyd power. So when you increase your Boyd power, you move up and down in the leaderboards, which can be good basically for bragging rights and things like that. And there's multiple leaderboards. There's a leaderboard for each team. There's a global leaderboard. And each team has competitions, and each competition has a leaderboard. So you have lots of opportunities to beat someone at something somewhere.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that's, and then we have these competitions. So the team leaders can create competitions, or we call them promotions. The promotions can have their own distribution of prizes. So EOS Nation, they gave away a sticker pack that had like a bunch of exclusive stickers that, were hard to get your hands on. We had one group that, gave away t-shirts. A lot of groups just give away tokens because that's the easiest thing to do, but, we have a good mix of different things. Everything EOS, they offered a spot on their show to the #1 contributor, for a season. So yeah, the team leaders get pretty creative with it. And that's kind of the gamification layer. And then the next layer would be your Boyd power allows you kind of dictates your share of the Boyd inflation. So there's some kind of there's some Boyd inflation that's generated each day, and it's distributed according to your relative Boyd power. And there's a whole mechanic where if you stake your Boyd, then you get additional Boyd on top of what you would just get with the power. So
the amount of Boyd that you have staked that contributes to the amount of power that you use when you're mining. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of these token platforms, you just lock up your tokens and you earn some kind of passive income. And we don't have any concept like that. You have to combine your locked Boyd tokens with some amount of Boyd power in order to see some benefit. And that's basically just to ensure, rewards are going to active network participants that are actually putting in the work and, adding value to the platform. And there's this concept of a powered stake. So you can't just stake as many Boyd tokens as you want, and there's infinite rewards from doing that. Basically the amount of, and there's a multiplier. So it's let's say if you have 1,000 Boyd power, then your maximum powered stake is 100,000 Boyd tokens. So if you stake any more than that, you're not going to directly benefit from doing that unless you increase your Boyd power, which would increase your max powered stake. And this also works with the worker proposal system. So basically, any staking rewards that you earn, which is outside of your max powered stake, we call that unpowered stake or unpowered staking rewards. Those unpowered staking rewards goes to the public worker proposal system, which can be used to fund development of the platform. So basically, and that was from, the conversation on EOS about, what should we do with inflation? And people were having all these different conversations about how much inflation should there be? Should we have a worker proposal system? Things like that. This actually puts the level of public worker proposal inflation into the hands of each individual token holder. So if you think there should be more funds going into the worker proposal system, all you need to do is stake more Boyd, above your max powered stake, and you'll be contributing at no cost to yourself, through additional inflation to the worker proposal system. And if you don't think that, if you don't want to increase inflation to that, then don't stake any higher than your max powered stake. So yeah, it gives individuals a little say in, how the system operates kind of passively. So it doesn't require you to go out of your way and do anything special, which is important when you're trying to get lots of people to do something. You want to make it as simple.
I kind of feel like passive is a good thing to bring up for Boyd. If you're mining, you can be mining at nighttime when you're sleeping, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I was involved a little bit with the Uplift Nation team, and the Uplift Nation team lead had said, he's got quite a few kids, and he said, I just converted some of their gaming rigs into mining machines, and they were a little bit worried about it at first, but you can tailor it so that when your kids are playing games, it's not mining Boyd. You can set it up. You can, create a system whereby you designate the time that it's mining and the time that it isn't. And I think that's just amazing. You and I have actually had this conversation before, and I get a little bit excited about it, but I would love to see this in every office building, in every major city across the globe, because it's like how many computers are left on at night, just, sucking up energy.
Nothing. Yeah.
Right. So
it's pretty wild. And also just the amount of computing power that each individual has in their pocket now.
Yeah.
Is crazy. But I mean, there's lots of, there's a lot of pie in the sky stuff. And then there's a lot of kind of real world when you get down to the nitty gritty, you find all these edge cases and all these issues and things like that. But in general, I would say, like Boyd is more about the kind of social gamification side as opposed to being like extremely technical distributed computing innovation, which requires, you know, some PhD computer scientists working on it full time or whatever. You know, we just kind of take off the shelf distributed computing software and make it fun and easy for anyone to use, right? And our value add is more around that kind of user accessibility, gamification, incentivization side, as opposed to just really technical.
I gotta say, you guys are really, really well. If you go to boyd.com or app.boyd.com, I mean, that was my first experience with it, was just like being like literally delighted every time I found the next like gamification thing. I'm like, this is just good. It's messing around with it and getting all my computers hooked up on it, and it's just solid stuff. So you know, the NFTs, you know, having those and locking those away is going to give you a little bit more power. I think that's, you know, and tons of other gamification things you guys have going on. Is there anything like upcoming that you guys are launching, or you're still kind of in this NFT release?
So the NFT thing, I think, ends in 4 days. Just to put that out there.
Yeah. Only a few more days left to grab the Tesla NFTs. So check it out. And yeah, in terms of other things coming up, we don't have anything to announce, but I can say that we're aware of the kind of onboarding problems. Like there's, you know, especially with EOS, you have to get a setup scatter and things like that. And also just the cost of operating on chain and storing everything on chain on EOS. It doesn't really scale very well. So, you know, we've been talking for a long time about kind of re-architecting the platform to be more scalable, something that can onboard millions of users, things like that.
Right.
And that's a serious consideration that we're pursuing. So
would you start your own chain, or maybe hop onto one of the side chains?
Probably all of the above. Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right.
I mean, well, the design of Boyd was always like that. We are not like a chain maximalist type project, and that we're adaptable and things like that. And you know, I guess the original roadmap for Boyd was a little bit idealistic about there being proper inter-blockchain communication. So when that has not panned out yet, we've kind of had to scramble to come up with our own solution to do that. And so, yeah, that's kind of where we are now, is like we see projects that'll just move their whole project from one chain to another, and we're trying to avoid doing that. We want to expand.
Yeah. We had so much debate about that for Chirp. It's like, you know, we finally just landed on, you know, we're not even going to mint coins, which is what Chirp runs on a blockchain. Like, it's just an internal point system at this point, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I think there will be ways to express that value, you know, outside the site at some point, but we're just basically staying away from it because, you know, we built the beta on links. And then links just kind of went, you know, we'll just go somewhere else. Right? Like being linked into one, you know, it's a risk factor, right? So I'm glad that you guys are doing that, and we're having a lot of fun. I mean, like bringing, you know, a project like Boyd, projects like Telos, I think, you know, 5 or 6 more that are coming on soon. Like it's sort of more fascinating to us to be sort of a service spot to be able to allow you know, tokens in these other projects to be turned into, or to be rewarding you know, commenting and social activity. So it's cool. You gotta be nimble, man. You gotta be nimble.
Yeah, it's funny because like I'm getting into the mentality now, but like I've never thought of Boyd as like a startup, or like something that has something that's supposed to act like a startup, and that kind of that philosophy. I've always thought of it as more of like a science project or a research project or whatever. And, because the kind of blockchain methodology or whatever is fairly conservative when you're talking about those kinds of things. Like blockchains are not supposed to change. Like the fact that the links chain just shut down is kind of unprecedented. This is not a thing that happens very often in blockchain.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, so I tend to like try not to change, our course or change direction or whatever. And also like we try to design the Boyd platform in such a way that, there's enough decentralized governance. There's a DAC and a multi-sig and everything such that, it does take, a little time and energy to actually make changes. So yeah, there's definitely different philosophies there. I see like Karma. I mean, Karma was very fast to move off of EOS when the resource crunch happened.
Yeah,
it was probably less than a month or so. They just completely up and moved to Wax. And I think, from a business, like if you just sit down and look at it from a business perspective, I thought that was a pretty good move, honestly, for them, for their community and everything. So yeah, there's definitely value in staying.
I don't know about that. Like in my opinion, that was a little bit bad timing. Like if some social platform were to do it now, it would be huge, right? Like they were, like you said, they were like the first project on Wax, I think. Like after it launched, like the first first project to actually move over there. Maybe Prospectors was on there already or something, but it's like if a project moved over there now, I think it would be huge. But I think they kind of jumped the gun on that. I mean, like you said, it sounded like a good business idea at the time, but this is the problem. I mean, this show is called EOSIO Weekly, so Corey and I have talked about this kind of extensively. Like, we're kind of like, all about different chains in the ecosystem, but I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like just picking up and moving from one chain to another chain and then back to another chain, which sounds crazy, but didn't like Dice has done that. They've moved like 5 times or something. Not really, but jumping, it's kind of like playing hopscotch through the EOSIO ecosphere. Like, I think that idea of being able to have a part of your project on one chain and a part of your project on another chain and a part of your project on a third chain, to me, is the most interesting and most feasible way to actually have a good network ecosystem. And a little bit off topic here, but I get frustrated when people say, no, like, how is this helping me as an EOS investor? Like, I invested in EOS and then there's all of these other chains that have spun up. Like, I get frustrated because these other chains have spun up to tailor towards certain needs that weren't provided from, maybe the mainnet or the EOS chain that they were on. So I think the real future for me will be having part of your application on a variety of these chains for a variety of reasons that all, tailor towards different aspects. I don't know. I know you have a lot of experience in IBC, but I just wonder if you think that is something that is maybe one of these pipe dreams that we were talking about earlier, or if this is grounded in the reality of like what EOS could be.
No, I mean, that's what, if you read like the EOS white paper, I mean, it talks about some of what you're discussing in terms of scalability. And, Dan Larimer, lots of his interviews and blog articles you can reference, he talks about, thousands of chains running in parallel, seamlessly sharing data, between each other and things like that. The problem is that technology to enable that has not been prioritized, and everyone thought someone else was working on it, and it just didn't happen. And like, if you look at the original Boyd roadmap, that was like our plan was like, yeah, we're going to be one of these like native side chains with like very clean interoperability with mainnet. Because I follow other EOS or other blockchain projects, and I look at Cosmos and the Cosmos ecosystem. I mean, they said from the very beginning, do not build your application on mainnet. The mainnet is just a dumb, it doesn't even have smart contracts. All it does is pass tokens around and relay information between all these connected, they call them zones, but they're just other side chains basically. And so they're like, if you want to go from one side chain to another, you just go through this hub. So you bounce, everyone is bouncing their data through the hub to these other side chains. And these side chains are all custom built for whatever application they're supposed to be running. And some of them are running smart contracts. Some of them are just coded from the ground up, you know, for a specific application. And I always thought like, yeah, I mean, that seems like a pretty good idea. You know, that seems like probably the way forward with things. And so, yeah, I was always like, Boyd will probably be one of those like sidechain kind of things on EOS or whatever. It's just a matter of, and I do think that interoperability tech is coming, you know, but until then, you know, you can, what you're talking about, like spreading your resources across multiple chains, you can do that, but you lose a lot of the security guarantees that a blockchain confers. You have to kind of patch it together using some off-chain system. So, you know, I think it's fine. It's fine. It's just maybe a little disappointing, but the technology that we're working with on EOS is still like just EOSIO in general, like the technology. It's so far ahead of every other blockchain technology out there, just in terms of just raw technical competency. It's really outstanding. So yeah, that's why, you know, we're building on EOS/EOSIO, and we're not going to be moving out of this ecosystem for sure.
Yeah. It's a thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess like the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're up.
I just like it. A lot of these conversations for us sort of come back to the feeling that people have having invested in EOS, and I just want to say, no project is on building on EOS is responsible for the fact that we bought EOS. That's not their job. It's never been their job. That's B1's job, if it's anyone's, right? And so I'm excited to see when, you know, any kind of resource crunch happens, you know, projects, you know, there's startups, you know, these people aren't like, you know, funded up the wazoo all the time or whatever. They have to figure out how to make their shit work for their community, and whatever it takes to do that, they're going to have to do. And I'll be excited to support them whenever that is. And if somebody comes up with some, you know, awesome whiz bang, inter blockchain communication type idea for EOS mainnet, great. Or maybe the resource thing works, or, you know, whatever. There's a million different things that are possibilities. But I'm just so excited to see projects like Boyd that are just coming in. And because, like, dude, your project's fucking kick ass. Like, that's just, I fucking love it. And I'm just gonna swear a bunch now because it's what I do when I get excited. I turn into a sailor. So thank you, John, very, very much for coming on. For everybody who's on here, you're gonna want to make sure that you're following the hashtag Boyd channel on Chirp. So we should be launching very, very soon with some rewards just for doing the social media stuff that you were going to do anyway. So you can post your hash or post your power rating on Boyd or whatever. We'll come up with some interesting reasons for you to come in.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping that actually the Boyd channel in Chirp can become kind of a home for the teams to kind of get together. And I mean, the team idea is really cool, but there's not a lot of outreach between teams, it seems, in the Boyd ecosystem. So it'd be really cool, like John was saying earlier, there's this kind of idea whereby there's all of these different levels of competition. So I'd like to kind of see that Boyd channel on Chirp be like kind of a level of friendly competition, right. Collaboration and everyone loves taking the piss once in a while, and it'd be kind of cool if you took the piss on Chirp. That's all I'm saying.
It's literally what it was built for.
So, but and then awesome. On a final note as well, even if you're not, mining Boyd, I would suggest you go check out. If you're at all interested in the technology, just head on over to the donation site, the auction site at Boyd. and check it out, because I think it supports 12 different tokens right now, if I'm correct, from the EOS ecosystem.
More than that, but yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, and you can just donate tokens. You can even that aspect of the auction was quite really well gamified. I thought you can just donate tokens, and the way that it's set up is the level that you get to, you will walk away with that one of the 4 tiers of the Tesla NFT, and they're really cool NFTs. And once this auction is over, that's it. They're done, right? There'll never be any more released.
We haven't committed to that, and
No. I mean, like the Tesla. Well, we're never going to release this series of Tesla again. I mean, there might be there might be like another Tesla, but it's not going to be this one. This is like the first NFT on Boyd, really, right? Like,
true, yeah.
So I mean, if you're a collector, just go get it, man. Like, even if you're not mining yet, go get it. It's really cool. It's a really cool NFT. Like, just go check it out. I really want people to see it, because it's something new that like isn't out there. It's it's some cool artwork and some cool background story, and there's a really good connection in there with Tesla's ideas and what Boyd is doing, and this idea of like energy spanning out there across the universe, and being able to empower the world and do good things. A couple of centuries in there that differentiate us, but it's the same thing, right? So sorry to go on a little bit of a rant there, but I think they're just go check it out. It's just really cool, and it's easy. Log in with your EOS account. It's super easy. Like, everything about it is just really easy. It's like one of the 3rd most easy things that we've talked about today, Corey.
It's super simple, man. All right, so is there anything else, John, that you want to leave us with?
Really, we're looking forward to starting to onboard Boyd users onto Chirp. So Seth on my team has kind of been heading that up, and we're gonna be running some promotions and things like that. So
cool.
So check out Chirp.
Game on.
Do we have any word on a potential new season when that will kick off?
Yeah, we're talking about early next year. We want to make sure, we get everything aligned, everything set up. But, you could say January, February next year for sure.
That's awesome.
Nice. All right. Looking forward to that. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on, man. Jimmy, it was good to see you as usual. Another EOSIO weekly update in the tank, as it were.
Yeah. And so we'll be back next week. We probably got a guest lined up, but we're going to keep it a surprise.
Yep. We're such good planners. All right. See you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Corey. Have a good one.
Thank you for joining us.